Sam, I know you've written a lot about the upcoming draft. What positions are the strongest? And also, Browns will be taking second and third round picks, likely unless they trade. What positions do you think they can find value where they might be drafting?
Yeah, we hear this almost year on year, but the wide receiver group this season, I think, is genuinely special. Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze from Washington, Malik Neighbors from LSU, whose pro day was today. Those three guys, I think, in any normal year would each be the top receiver in the entire draft, and all three of them are coming out at the same time, kind of going head to head. I think they're probably all going to go in the top 10. But then I think the depth in this receiver group is also absolutely ridiculous. And the second and the third round of this year are going to be full of legitimate high-end receiver talents that can come in and make an immediate impact in the NFL. I think it's a great year to be both needing a wide receiver and having second and third round draft picks for one.
Are there guys that you think, the Browns that would fit what the Browns are looking for relative to another? They're looking for another weapon for Deshaun Watson. We said that last segment. Are there guys that you think that could be in that second, third round range who would fit what would be value for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Browns are in an interesting situation because they don't necessarily have an obvious stylistic type of receiver that they need. There are some teams that go into the draft and they've got a big body possession guy, they've got a good route runner, but they really need that speedster. I think the Browns, with the receivers that they have, kind of have everything covered already. Maybe they would like a true vertical receiving threat, and there's absolutely those guys in this draft. But I think that they could go in a number of different directions in the second or third round in terms of receivers. It's really about just which guy they like the best. But somebody like Ladd McConkey from Georgia, who might even sneak his way into the first round, given the way he's been going. Troy Franklin from Oregon is a big, long, speedy wide receiver. And then Xavier Worthy from Texas, who broke the combine record with his 4.2 140 just a couple of weeks ago. I think those are guys that any one of those guys could absolutely be available in the second round when Cleveland picks. They could also, any one of the three could end up forcing their way into the first round conversation. The other sort of dynamic with this receiving group is it's incredibly kind of chaotic and tight and close together between wide receivers sort of 4 and 15. You're going to see a radically different group of rankings across the draftscape. But it means that any one of these guys could sort of be gone in the first round, but they could also slip to the top of the third round as well without an awful lot changing.
A guy that some of the mock drafts have recently started tying to the Browns is Malachi Corley from Western Kentucky. He's a run yard after the catch guy, and you hear him compared to Deebo Samuel. Is that legit?
I feel like it's a stretch. I've seen him compared to Deebo Samuel. I've seen him compared to Anquan Bolden as well. I think, honestly, a lot of that comp is because of body type. If you kind of watch him on tape, he's got a very unusual body type where he's big and stocky and, has this kind of huge torso. And it sort of feels like he's this massive, strong bulldozer with the ball in his hands. And he's good after the catch. They gave him a ton of screens in that offense. But I don't see this Deebo Samuel sort of versatile running back / wide receiver hybrid that can just bust NFL tackles all day the way the Deebo can. I think he's a little bit more of a conventional wide receiver than that. I'm a little bit lower on him than a lot of people because of that. But he's absolutely like an intriguing option in this draft because he's such an unusual type of receiver.